Connectedness in terms of psychology is the thought that even though each person is their own distinct physical being, people are also connected to each other and nature, not by language, but just by having a deeper sense of being. The broad connectedness definition is based on phenomenal emotional, physical, and cognitive experiences that people have stated they feel, they sense. So it's an awareness of others and nature. Connectedness in psychology is 5 sensory. As we approach an awakening or a paradigm shift, these perceptions become extrasensory, where a person does not operate as a single entity, rather as a collective conscious unit, Everything at the end of the day is connected, and it's a wonderful starting point for us because it's something we do not tend to think of very often. Nature is connected through time and space in many wonderful ways. Trees in the forests are actually able to get information about impending floods or fires from other trees or other living things at the other side of the forest. We now know entire forests connect and create a universal environment to make things work as best as possible. Scientists have now even discovered that fungus is used to send messages across the forest, to signal for help, and even help sick trees by asking stronger trees to help the weaker ones. So this is connection at a multi-billion-year-old level. Not only forests connect and cooperate together, but everything does. There is a universal oneness that we are starting to be able to see with contemplative eyes. Take the Gulf Stream in the Atlantic. It's 100 times more powerful than the Amazon and acts as a massive air conditioner, amongst other things, to cool countries as far away as the United Kingdom. Cooling and warming of air is connected to our oceans, which is connected, of course, to everything else. Scientists now have come to understand that the reason for the birds chirping so early in the morning is linked to plants. Fauna consciously meeting flora in one big sonic boom. The chirping of the birds sets the alarm with a certain frequency for plants. It signals for them that the light is coming and they are to open their stomata cells, which allow the plant to breathe for the day. Then we've got history in the present day. Nazis killing off 7 million Jews whose gifts of entrepreneurship, creativity, and industry would have changed the world today. They're still being felt today. A greed for industrialization and more products increases global temperatures, and that changes how bees operate, and the story could go on and on. So our connections to people run deep and are teeming with archetypes. In fact, they run through space and time, beginning to end. Our own ancestors' smile is on your face, and you may be quite shocked if you were to see the similarities of those ancestors in your family today. You are likewise also a part of many people's future in more ways than you would normally think of. Your grandchildren's children in your future have a big part of them in you. Even the decisions and choices you make. You will be playing roles that direct their lives, hormones, genes, and thinking patterns, even the way they handle problems. You will have an impact on them from their brain waves right through to their neurobiological patterns and even their microbiome connection, which will affect how long they will live. The type of personalities they develop will have their origins in you. Multi-generational connections are revealing a lot about potential environmental impacts on neurodevelopment. For example, as a female human being, you are born with your egg cells. Yep, because you're born with these egg cells, this actually means that your eggs were once inside your mother when you were a fetus in her womb. That means your mother carried the egg cells, which may one day be fertilized and grow into her grandchildren. It also means that each prenatal exposure has the potential to directly impact 3 or more generations. Exposure to mice through potentially toxic environmental chemicals and other stresses in utero may affect normal development of not just the growing fetus, but multiple generations to come. This means that the connections run deeper than we realize. We have transmitted our trauma for generations, and the paradigm shift we are starting to see now speed up globally in the world is now happening at levels we couldn't contemplate at first. The snowball effect of the industrialization age to the information and tech age we see now is changing the world. People have woken up from the invention of the printing press, electricity, the web, and amongst other things, these are changing the world with a snowball effect of revelatory knowledge. So social connection that comes from you and repeats in your children begins in infancy. And the connections formed between child and parent flow into the healthy social connections that are formed later in life as the child gets to adulthood. So the way they fire and wire will be caught up in the way you fire and wire. Thinking about this kind of connectedness, this connected stewardship of humanity, has been happening since the times of Adam and Eve, and there still remains a little Cain and Abel in each of us. I think we can rest in the fact that we are connected to everything in the contemplative field, just like everything else is connected to everything else. Energy is in everything conscious, and there is a galaxy of cells, information, and infinite possibilities to everything. Universal possibilities, unlimited, When one uses their CQ, their contemplative intelligence, to deeply understand life, we could realize that we could never be bored, never be inadequate, never be not part of something magnificent and wonderful. We need to rest in the fact, finally, that we can't get there from here, as I always say. In other words, you cannot understand all these things, these connections, the magnitude of how these parts of nature and of ourselves are connected. When we use our 5 sensory capacity of sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, we can't get there. You need to go deeper. You need to go multi-sensory, extrasensory, and just get contemplative to understand or to fathom the magnitude of consciousness, the immensity of time and space and what is going on here as we're sort of getting to know it today. I think we can take comfort in that and always remember, especially when afraid, to trust the consciousness we cannot see. As Anthony Doerr reminds us in All the Light We Cannot See, he says, open your eyes and see what you can with them before they close forever. So what's our task today? What do we do? Keep making soul connections. Keep remembering your true purpose, and the foundations of everything you do is connected to everything else. We don't want to operate from the fear of personality. Rather, we need to get in the gap and just get into a place where we respond to life with soulful wisdom. For one, we've got to stop killing each other. That's the most important thing, is to get away from that Cain and evil first murder sin. Nothing can stop consciousness from growing. And so we can assume it is based in love. Love never ends. Love conquers all. And love will always remain. I think we can take some solace in that, get some peace out of that, All we have to do is affirm our connection to this love every day, and you'll be the change your soul wants to see in this world. You are and always will be a big part of the unfolding of history as we evolve consciously from personality to spirituality, from ego to sacred self, or from animal or human to the divine nature.